Hi dear students, today you'll be taught 8th chapter of yours, Mijbil the Otter by Gavin Maxwell. In this chapter, the author Gavin Maxwell tells us about his pet. After the death of the dog, he thought to have another pet, but not a dog. Early in the 1956, he traveled to southern Iraq. He saw there some Arabs having an otter. Then he also thought of having an otter. He told this to his friends. His mail was due. So, with a friend, he went to Basra to receive his mail. His friend collected his mail and went away. After his friend had left, Mr. Maxwell received a shake in which there was something. And the shake was for the narrator and was a gift from his friend. Inside the shake, there was an otter. The narrator named it Mijbil. Initially, the otter slept on the floor, but soon he entered the bed till the servant brought tea. Now it started becoming familiar to the writer. This is a descriptive account of the narrator Gavin Maxwell and his otter. Now let us have line-wise explanation of this chapter. Gavin Maxwell lives in a cottage in Kempsfearna in the West Highlands in Scotland. Gavin Maxwell, the writer of this chapter, resides in a cottage which is situated in Kempsfearna in the West Highlands in Scotland. When his dog Johnny died, when his dog Johnny died, Maxwell was too sad to think of keeping a dog again. Maxwell wanted to have a pet, but this time he did not want to have a dog as a pet. But life without a pet was lonely. But his life without a pet was lonely. Now, let's read what happened then in Maxwell's own words. Early in the year of 1956, I traveled to southern Iraq. The writer says that early in the year of 1956, he traveled to the southern part of Iraq. Till then, it had crossed my mind that I should like to keep an otter instead of a dog. Till then, it had crossed my mind, it had come into my mind that I should like to keep an otter, that I should keep an otter instead of a dog. This time, as a pet, I will not have a dog, but an otter. And that Kempsfearna, the place Kempsfearna, ringed by water, surrounded by water, a stone's throw from its door. Waters were at a very short distance from Kempsfearna. Would be an eminently suitable spot fit for this experiment. The city Kempsfearna, which is ringed by water, which is surrounded by water, will be an extremely suitable spot, will be an extremely suitable place for this experiment of keeping an otter as a pet. In this paragraph, the writer tells that early in the year of 1956, when he traveled to southern Iraq, he had an idea in his mind that instead a dog as a pet, he would keep an otter. And as he was from Kempsfearna, he thought that Kempsfearna would be the perfect place for this experiment, perfect place to tame, to domesticate an otter, as Kemsfirna was surrounded by water. When I casually mentioned this to a friend, when I had a casual talk about keeping an otter to my friend, he as casually replied that I had better got one in the Tigrish marshes. For there they were as common as mosquitoes and were often tamed by the Arabs. I had a casual talk about this to one of my friends, and he replied that I can find an otter, I can find a good otter in Tigrish marshes. Why could I get an otter in this place is there the otters were as abundant as mosquitoes and were often tamed by Arabs. And Arabs used to tame them, domesticate them there. We were going to Basra to Consulate General to collect and answer our mail from Europe. I and my friend were going to Basra. We both were going to Basra. The reason behind is we were going to Consulate General to collect and answers our mail from Europe. At the Consulate General, we found that my friend's mail had arrived, but that mine had not. When we reached at the Consulate General, we found that my friend's mail had arrived, but my email had not arrived. I cabled to England, I mailed to England, and when 3 days later nothing had happened, I tried to telephone. I wanted to know the reason as my mail had not arrived. So I cabled to England, and when 3 days later nothing had happened, I had got no response, I tried to telephone. At that time the call had to be booked 24 hours in advance. At that time, if you had to make a call, you were supposed to book the call 24 hours ago in advance. On the first day, the line was out of order. On the second, the exchange was closed for a religious holiday. And on the third day, there was another breakdown. For consecutive 3 days, I had problem in telephone exchange. On the first day, the line was out of order. The line was not working. On the second day, it was a religious holiday, so I couldn't. And on the third day, there was another breakdown. There was another problem. My friend left. My friend went back, and I arranged to meet him in a week's time. I promised him to meet him in a week's time. 5 days later, my mail arrived. I carried the mail to my bedroom and read. After 5 days, I received my mail. I carried it to my bedroom to read, and there, sitting on the floor, were 2 Arabs. When I reached my room to read the mail, I saw 2 Arabs squatting on the floor. Beside them lay a sheikh. Beside them there was a sheikh that squirmed, that twisted from time to time. Beside those Arabs there was a sheikh, and the sheikh was twisting timely. They handed me a note from my friend. When I reached in the room, they handed me a note from my friend, and in the note, "Here is your otter" phrase was mentioned. In the sheikh, there was an otter sent by my friend. So far, in this first part of the chapter, we have read that the writer had a wish to keep an otter as a pet when he was traveling to southern Iraq. He talked about it. He talked about his wish to one of his good friends, and his friend suggested him to take it from Tigrish marshes as there otters are found in abundance in plenty. The writer was going to Basra to the consulate general to collect and answer his mail from Europe. Due to some technical errors, he did not get his mail on time, so he had to make a stay there in Basra. When he was in Basra, he got a note and a sheikh, and in the sheikh there was a otter from his friend as a gift.